9 in a row, Ryan. I mean, who saw this coming? Coming off of that road trip, which was just dreadful, but they did salvage the last 2 games against the Braves, which led into this, and you've got a sweep of a 7-game homestand, 9 wins in a row. You're getting pitching. You're getting hitting from basically everybody but Eugenio Suarez at this point. But it's amazing. Yeah. The bullpen you and I were talking about on Friday, I mean, they've been spectacular. Does this feel like a team that just I feel like we're going to be surprised when they drop a game. I mean, I don't think they're going to I don't think they're going to win their final 12. Maybe they will. But at some point you figure they're going to lose a game and it's going to feel like, wait, what happened? You're supposed to win because they've conditioned us now.
Yeah, well, Bob, you and I, touched on this quite a few times, just talking about, getting out on the road. And it sounds so cliche. I mean, even talking to Bryce Miller, who even told me, he said, look, he goes, yeah, man, there's just a different energy with us on the road at the moment, right, for whatever reason. And he even said, too, the pitchers kind of sat together on their own and tried to, sort of spitball as to what it was. And I said, did you come up with anything? And everyone just kind of looked around and said, there's really no rhyme or reason. I mean, obviously, getting better counts, winning some of the 0-0-1-1s, all that kind of stuff, the typical stuff. But what happens on this road trip, is going to be huge. And I think that you couldn't have asked for a better homestand, obviously, because last time I was talking to you guys last Monday, we're kind of doing the math and trying to figure out, okay, what's the bare minimum in this homestand before they knocked off every game. But before that, and then heading into this road trip, what's the bare minimum? Like, how many wins will it take to have a wild card spot? Now, all of a sudden, you can start measuring out, okay, if they can take care of 2 or 3, which is an amazing result, this road trip against the Rockies, then all of a sudden you can get to the Dodgers, and then you can start reshaping your rotation to get you ready for that wild card series, which you probably most likely going to play. You're hoping it's going to be on your home turf, and that's why winning the AL West is going to be huge. But I just think, man, this team, there has to be some carryover from what they did on the road. It has to be, man, because the lineup is so rock solid right now, from JP turning around from his last road trip to what he did, hitting down the bottom of the lineup. Polanco is just absolutely tearing it up. He's in a really good place right now. Josh Naylor, obviously, he's been doing good things since he came over. Julio and Cal. Cal getting that 54, that weight of that 54th home run off his back was huge, especially doing from the left side. It's been more inconsistent from the left side in the second half. So all that offensively, and then the rotation too, man. George Kirby doing what he did yesterday, that was huge for this rotation. And, we talked about how would you go game 1, 2, and 3 in the postseason. I said George Kirby before he pitched yesterday, and I know it's against the Angels, but you need to find something as a pitcher that whatever it is you worked on, or some visual or whatever it may be, because that it's all going to come down to what the pitching does on this road trip. But they certainly have to bring some of that momentum onto this road trip for sure, and some of that energy.
Ryan, we were just talking about Eugenio Suarez, and it's hard to explain because, I mean, the guy has 45 home runs. I mean, 109 RBIs. I mean, I don't know. It's pretty amazing, though, this sort of slump that he's in here. Well, it's not sort of a slump. It's a huge slump. So what do you think about him? And, maybe going on the road can kind of shake him up a little bit?
Yeah, I think so. I think, it's probably a little bit of that, compounding pressure he's putting on himself. Because think about it, right? Like, you go back to, last time he was a Seattle Mariner, yeah, he was one of the lead guys on this team, but he came over in a trade from the Reds kind of last minute. And he wasn't someone, if you remember, I remember Bob and I were hosting the show. I was filling in for you, Dave, the day he got traded. And the outlook on him was, all right, yeah, he's still got some power, but he's lost some of the athleticism. He's lost some of the defensive athleticism, moved him from shortstop to third base. Then he comes over. So he kind of had that perspective as if to say, you know what, I'm going to not prove you wrong, but I'm going to prove that I am one of the best players in the game. Now, all of a sudden, he comes over and he's carrying a different burden, not a burden, but he's carrying a different load coming into this situation with the Mariners. Now, all of a sudden, he's supposed to be that guy to get you over that hump offensively. And put Josh Naylor aside. Yeah, Josh Naylor, that was more of the complementary piece to Suarez when you think about it. I know they're different trades, but from the same team. And so I think he sort of carried that energy or that load into his time with the Mariners, and it's kind of lingered a little bit. And I feel like too, maybe there's a situation where he knows what's at stake here to get to October. He's an emotional guy. But to answer your question, I think getting out on the road and just taking some ace swings, get him a 2-0 count. Let's pay attention to that first, second, third at bat against the Royals this first game. Get that 2-0 count. Just get that ace swing off, man. Don't try and process these at bats. Chase a little bit. I don't care. Get aggressive and he's so talented because of some of the home run numbers you mentioned. And just get back to whatever it needs to be. So when the time is right, whether it's heading into that Rockies or Dodgers series into the postseason, hopefully he just goes off, man. Because when he goes off, we know about that energy, and it's so much fun to watch. So I just think there's been kind of this lingering effect and a different perspective for him coming up back to this with the Mariners than what it was when he was here prior, or even being a D-back as well.
Hey, when we look at this, back to the rotation for a moment, when we see what they were able to do in this series against the Angels, and the strikeout numbers were off the charts, with the exception of Castillo, who that's back-to-back good starts for him, by the way, quality starts. He was 6 innings, 1 run. I'll take that every single time. But he had 5 Ks. But you look at Miller, who didn't even get you 6, got 5 2/3, but struck out 11, no walks. You look at Wu, 6 innings, 1 walk, 13 strikeouts. And then Kirby, as you mentioned, 6 1/3, no walks, 14 strikeouts. Is that more about what they were doing that was a tweak, something different, or is that about the Angels just being not very good, not very disciplined? How do you look at those numbers?
A combination of both. First of all, the Angels struggle on 95 mile per hour plus pitches, especially at the top of the strike zone. They're the third worst in regards to batting average and swing and miss rate against 95 plus. So I'm watching this, and I'll get to Bryce Miller in a second because I think this is important. I spoke to him about this in depth just the other day. But I think for George Kirby, we talked about him and some of these other guys kind of getting back into a good rhythm where they feel really confident. Doesn't matter what your arsenal is, whether you are Logan Gilbert in that split is going to get you a ton of swing and miss, or if it is the fastball. When you can get to a place that you're facing a major league hitter, I know it's the Angels and everything I just said about facing that fastball. When you can get to a place where you can just take a breath, rear back, and just absolutely accelerate through release and just let it eat, and you get that big swing and miss, your confidence just absolutely skyrockets, right? And so I think for a couple of guys, first of all, George Kirby yesterday, look at the amount of strikeouts he had at 4 seamers at the top of the strike zone. He did not have that pitch against the Cardinals, and he definitely didn't have that against the Rays. He just wasn't finding the top of the strike zone. Well, he found that again, and that's a huge key. For Bryce Miller, the version, and I told Bryce this to his face, man, my favorite version of Bryce Miller is not the dude who, he can throw 5 different pitches in any count. No. My favorite version of Bryce Miller is 96 with that high backspin fastball at the top of the strike zone, let it eat, pitch off that hitter in the middle of the plate. And he's starting to do that. The percentage of fastballs and 4-seamers that are middle and up for him has gone through the roof against the Braves and against his last start as well. And I think that's a huge sign. Look, I know he's got these other weapons. I get it. But he even said this too, man. He said when you start to doubt or you start to lose a little bit of effect on that one pitch, especially too when he is so he's so aware of how much that ball's spinning, what kind of vertical rise he gets on that fastball, especially in the stadiums. That some of the stadiums that in T-Mobile they don't show up. In some stadiums they show the vertical, the inches of vertical movement, and they show the spin. When he keeps looking up at that, it can get in his head a little bit. And I think for him, when he starts getting a feel for that fastball, man, everything just comes alive. And I think he's found that these last couple of outings. So I think for Bryce doing that, and then also for George Kirby, and then again for Luis Castillo, a little bit different. He doesn't get caught up in that stuff, period. I think the stuff is kind of taking a little bit of a dip lately, but he's finding ways just to go out and compete. I hope maybe there's this little extra adrenaline if he does get a start in this first round of the postseason. But that starting pitching, going back to what I was talking about before, man, get them on a roll for this road trip, and they're going to just absolutely mow down the rest of the AL West and have that spot. At least have home field advantage in the wild card. If not, have the bye.
Hey, Ryan, the Royals coming off a road trip. They lost 3 out of 4 to Cleveland, and then they lost to the Phillies, which, no crime there, I guess, on the road. But what do you think about this team and where they're at and the Mariners' chances of going in there and taking this series?
that's a great matchup for them, man. Oh, like I think that game one facing Waka, and then also facing Cole Reagans is going to be game two. Now, Cole Reagans, you think about that name, you're like, oh man, he was a stud last year, All-Star, nearly started the All-Star game the whole bit. He's coming off a shoulder IL stint. He's been on the IL forever, so you don't know how long how long he's going to stay in the game. And I just feel like these first two games, you talk about getting some momentum on the road trip. I think the way they match up against the Royals are in absolute, spiraling the other way, spiraling down compared to what the Mariners are doing. They're in a spot right now where they're, pressed to, they literally have to sweep the Seattle Mariners that are red hot right now in this series. And they have to do it with first of all, Waka, who the Mariners have taken care of multiple times, and two, with Cole Reagans. They're hoping he comes back and gives them 3 or 4 innings or something. I just don't, knock on wood, I just don't see him having the same effect, especially coming off a shoulder injury, much like when George Kirby was still trying to find it, coming off that shoulder injury. I think this is a perfect 2 games to kick off this road trip and then go into Houston feeling really good about where they're at. So I think they match up really, really well. And again, just take 2 or 3 and then go to Houston, take 2 or 3, and then you'll be good. You can get to that Dodgers series and reshape how you're going to take on the rotation. You don't have to run out, run your bullpen on fumes, which, they've been pushing them hard. So you want to give them a little bit of a breather too before you head into October.
So how do you look at the final 12? Do you have a number in mind saying they need to get at least 8 or 9, 7? Do you have a number? I mean, we don't know what the other teams are going to do, so I'm asking you to kind of guess here. But if you were just able to say, look, if they get this number, I feel pretty good about their chances. Yeah,
I'm going to say, where are they at now? 82. So I'm going to say if you shoot for, and not that they're doing this math because they just want to win every game. I'm not sitting there going in the clubhouse, they're like, oh, if we get this number, if you can get, if you can get I think the bare minimum, you finish the year with an 88, you're okay. I think you're going to
go
be
500 in these final 12 then?
I'm not saying, man, it's tough.
Because that's 12 games left.
Yeah, I still feel like that at least is bare minimum. Now, if you can get 90, I think 90 is going to win you the AL West, and I think I don't know if they can get that if they can reach that bye round. That's going to be extremely tough ask. However, I feel like if they can get to a place where they win the AL West and they're matching up against Houston at T-Mobile, honestly, I think that keeps their momentum into that second series. I think they'll take on the Tigers after that, right? If that was the case. But I think they match up really well against Detroit, really well against them. I don't think Detroit had the starting pitching that they were hoping on. And if Scooble's down, oh, my goodness, man, that's the road you want to go. Take on Houston in T-Mobile. So take the AL West. You need to do that in order to take on Houston in your home ballpark. And then you got the Tigers. Dude, what a road to the playoffs, man. I love that. So I think that if you can get 9-0, 90 wins, I think you're good to go right there with that.
Yeah. Hey, what's your just quickly your take on Jorge Polanco, who I was saying last week, like, man, this guy has quietly been just an assassin out there. We're talking about Julio and Cal for good reason and all that. And he's kept it going 7 games in a row with a double. He's got a 12-game hitting streak. I mean, he is just raking out there, yet he's not the name or the face that the other guys are that we just mentioned. Right. But what are you seeing from him?
Oh, man, I love it, dude. I love it for a couple of reasons. Number one, remember he came out of the gates in April just red hot, and he was carrying an injury, dude. Like that knee was bugging him like crazy. He couldn't even throw across the infield, couldn't hit from the right side. And he really hasn't missed any time. Like, it's crazy. He went ice cold. I get it. Hitting a bunch of balls on the ground. He looks super comfortable. He changed his front side a little bit. He got really comfortable on that front side. He's handling pitches with 2 strikes. Some of the at-bats, he's just someone you cannot put away. So when you have a situation where you run that gauntlet middle of the lineup, and then all of a sudden, guess what? Now you got to deal with a Polanco. You got to deal with a Robles. You got to deal with a JP. When you can have that kind of at-bat quality, especially with JP and Polanco, down the bottom of the lineup, and then when Polanco can lift the ball and hit doubles and come up clutch and everything else, it's exhausting. So from a starting pitching standpoint, you're going to get run out of the game, and your bullpen is going to get exposed, i.e. the Royals coming up here. And so he's so valuable, man. I'm really happy for him. Remember, he was a late sign. We didn't quite know what to get. He said, man, I'm healthy this year. It's like, okay, like, show it. Let's see it. And he's been rock solid, man. You take out the month of May, man, he has been one of the best in this lineup. So really happy for him.
12 games left.
Crazy.
Unbelievable.
That's crazy.
I can't believe it.
All right. Have fun out there, man.
Thanks,
we'll talk
mate.
soon.
Thanks,
See
guys.
ya. There you go. There's Ryan Rowland.